Animal Farm by George Orwell. In this video, I will give you a few brief highlights of the author's profile, the summary of the story, the plots, the themes, and then the message one can get from the story. First, the author's profile. George Orwell was a pen name or pseudonym. His real name was Eric Arthur Blair. He was an English novelist, essayist, journalist, and literary critic. He was born in 1903 and he died on January 21, 1950. George Orwell is best known for his allegorical novella, Animal Farm, published in 1945, which we are discussing today, and his dystopian novel, 1984, published in 1949. 1949 will be reviewed next week, so watch out for the video. His works reflect his disturbance over social injustice and his commitment to socialism, along with opposition to totalitarianism. He has introduced a lot of words to popular culture that include Cold War, Big Brother, Thought Police, and Doublethink. The adjective Orwellian describes a situation, idea, or societal condition which is destructive to the welfare and the freeness of an open society. Now, a summary of the story. Animal Farm is a story about a revolution that was supposed to make things better, in this case for the animals, but it becomes worse for them, except for the pigs who are the new leaders. The revolution takes off when an old boar, Major, inspires all the animals to rebel on Manor Farm against their owner, Mr. Jones. The rebellion succeeds and Mr. Jones is chased out of the farm. The animals embrace animalism and they aim to achieve an idealistic state of justice and progress. Instead, what they create is a dystopian state, a state worse than what they bargained for. With the animals controlling themselves, the farm is named Animal Farm, and the 10 commandments for the animals to live by is painted on the barn wall of the farm. Napoleon, one of the pigs that assumes leadership position, is power hungry and consolidates his hold on power by eliminating the opposition. A good pig, Snowball, proposes a windmill for the farm that will benefit the animals. Napoleon chases Snowball out of the farm forever and claims the windmill. Napoleon uses his dogs to kill any animal that threatens his authority. He eventually becomes a totalitarian dictator and he begins to walk on 2 legs like the humans whom the animals detest. He also takes to living in Mr. Jones' house, to the surprise of other animals. By cunning, Napoleon expands the territory of the farm, but only to the benefit of the pigs, who are the ruling class, and his henchmen. Other animals suffer and work hard to preserve the farm, while he goes about doing business with humans. Eventually, the 7 commandments the animals are to live by is changed to one famous commandment. All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Napoleon changes the name of the farm back to Manor Farm and plays games with the humans, much to the consternation of the animals, who had made much sacrifices to chase the humans away. Now, the plot. The plot starts with old Major's dream about a world where humans are no more and animals are free and equal, able to do whatever they please. The animals are inspired by this dream and they compose a song, Beasts of England. Their singing awakens their lazy and drunk owner, Mr. Jones, who they later chase out of the farm. The farm is renamed from Manor Farm to Animal Farm. The animals begin a process of indoctrination, with Snowball, a wise and intelligent pig, at the forefront. The 10 Commandments for all animals is drafted, which states that all animals are equal. Mr. Jones plans an attack to take back his farm, but the animals defeat him. Snowball then proposes a windmill which would bring electricity to the farm. But before the plan comes to fruition, the leader of the animals, Napoleon, chases Snowball out of the farm using his henchmen, the dogs, and claims the project to be his pet idea. When the windmill fails, Napoleon claims that Snowball was responsible. A purge of the animals loyal to Snowball is undertaken, and the animals are taught the philosophy that Napoleon is always right. That is where Napoleon's dictatorship begins, and the animals begin to suffer. The animals show great strength, though, in controlling the farm, even when humans attack it again. Eventually, the leadership, along with Napoleon, starts assuming human characters, like sleeping on Mr. Jones' bed, walking on their hind legs, and drinking beer. Napoleon makes many changes to the 10 Commandments and begins interacting with humans, playing cards with them, which was against the rule of the animals. Now, what are the themes or the ideas in the story? George Orwell wrote The Animal Farm to decry the Russian Revolution that had turned to become a tyrannical government, different from the socialist ideals on which it was established. A socialist himself, George Orwell believed that socialism was a cure-all to poverty and the emancipation of the masses, and had high hopes for Russia after the revolution, only to have his hopes dashed by Stalin, who became a dictator after the revolution. Snowball, who opposed Napoleon, was an allegorical reference to Leon Trotsky, a Russian revolutionary. Much like the pigs in the story, the Russian intelligentsia eventually take over control of the resources of Russia, neglecting the common man who had fought for the revolution. The Animal Farm is an indictment of tyrannies and a diatribe against corruption in the ruling class. It shows how every revolution eventually becomes what they were supposed to discard. Many revolutions were founded on ideologies of liberation and equality, but as in the Animal Farm, not all animals are equal, because some are more equal than others. Now, the message of the Animal Farm. The message of the novella is this: power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Those were the words of Sir John Darbeck Acton, who also added that great men are almost always bad men. Napoleon represents the political class, no matter the ideology they profess. Human rule is a dystopia, and man can never achieve an utopia. Although, from time immemorial, man has aimed to use power for good, as Old Major represents, but eventually, the ideals get thwarted by a privileged few who use it for their selfish purposes. That is, to gain more power and destroy those who oppose them, like Napoleon. Napoleon served himself well with propaganda to manipulate people and entrench his power. Man has learned to master the tools of propaganda to do the same today. No matter the ideology, the truth of the animal farm is universal. Even despite democracies, they have checks and balances. Recent events show that a minority can twist the law to their advantage and become tyrannical. Thank you for watching this review of Animal Farm. I have posted the link to the novel online if you want to read it, so you can check it out yourself. I will encourage you to subscribe to this channel because I'll be posting or publishing more videos on reviews of novels, short stories, and poems. Next week, I'll post a review of 1984, a dystopian novel by the same author, George Orwell. See you next week.